In a world filled with significant events, today's top story highlights a global health emergency declared due to an Ebola outbreak. Additionally, tensions rise as military actions continue in Ukraine and leaders navigate complex international relations. Here are today's top 10 stories you need to know. Severe weather has been forecasted to hit the Midwest region of the United States over the next few days, with predictions of thunderstorms and possible tornadoes. The National Weather Service has issued warnings for several states, advising residents to prepare for potential power outages and hazardous conditions. Meteorologists are closely monitoring the situation as conditions develop. The storms are expected to bring heavy rainfall and damaging winds, which could exacerbate existing flooding issues in some areas. Local emergency management agencies are mobilizing resources to respond to any emergencies that may arise. Residents are urged to stay informed and heed warnings from local authorities. As the weather system approaches, the focus will be on ensuring public safety and minimizing disruption to daily life. The coming days will be crucial in determining the extent of the impact from these severe weather events. On May 19, 2026, SpaceX successfully launched its latest spacecraft, Starship V3, from its facility in South Texas. This launch represents a significant milestone in the company's efforts to develop advanced space travel technology. The Starship V3 features upgraded Raptor 3 engines, which are reported to deliver unprecedented thrust, crucial for future missions to Mars and beyond. The successful launch marks the beginning of a series of tests aimed at achieving orbital refueling capabilities. Engineers and scientists are closely monitoring the spacecraft's performance as it ascends into orbit. This achievement not only showcases SpaceX's technological advancements, but also reinforces the company's position as a leader in the commercial space industry. The implications of this successful launch extend beyond just SpaceX. It signals a new era of space exploration that could pave the way for international collaborations in the aerospace sector. As the mission progresses, updates will be provided on the spacecraft's journey and objectives. Recent economic reports indicate that job growth in the United States has slowed significantly in the past month, raising concerns about the labor market's resilience amid persistent inflation. According to the latest data released on May 18, 2026, non-farm payrolls increased by only 120,000 jobs, well below economists' expectations. This slowdown has prompted discussions among policymakers regarding potential adjustments to interest rates and economic stimulus measures. Analysts warn that continued inflation could erode consumer purchasing power, impacting overall economic growth. The Federal Reserve is closely monitoring these trends as they prepare for upcoming meetings to discuss monetary policy. Businesses are feeling the pinch, with some reporting challenges in hiring and retaining staff due to rising costs. As the situation evolves, the focus will be on how the government responds to support the economy and promote job creation. Future economic indicators will be critical in determining the trajectory of growth. A powerful earthquake struck southern Japan on May 18, 2026, registering a magnitude of 7.2 on the Richter scale. The epicenter was located near Kumamoto, leading to widespread damage and panic among residents. Initial reports indicate numerous buildings have collapsed, and emergency services are actively responding to assess the situation. Tsunami warnings were briefly issued, but have since been lifted. Local authorities are urging residents to remain vigilant as aftershocks are expected in the coming days. Hospitals are treating injuries, and rescue operations are underway to locate those trapped in debris. The Japanese government has mobilized resources to assist affected areas, and international aid offers are being evaluated. As the country grapples with the aftermath, recovery efforts will focus on rebuilding infrastructure and providing support to those displaced. The coming weeks will be critical for assessing the full impact of this disaster and ensuring the safety of the populace. In a significant development, China has announced a new round of sanctions against Taiwan as tensions between the two continue to escalate. The sanctions target key sectors of Taiwan's economy, including technology and agriculture, in response to what Beijing describes as provocative actions by Taiwanese authorities. The Chinese government has issued stern warnings, emphasizing that these measures are necessary to safeguard national sovereignty. Analysts suggest that these sanctions could have severe implications for Taiwan's economy, which relies heavily on trade with China. The international community has expressed concern over the escalating rhetoric and actions from both sides. In response, Taiwan has condemned the sanctions and vowed to seek support from its allies, including the United States, to counter China's aggressive stance. The situation remains volatile, with potential for further escalation in the region. Future diplomatic efforts will be critical to de-escalate tensions and prevent a wider conflict. In light of the escalating conflict, Ukraine has received a new shipment of military aid from several Western allies, including the United States and European nations. This assistance comes amid increased hostilities from Russian forces, with reports indicating ongoing airstrikes targeting civilian infrastructure and critical facilities. The latest aid package includes advanced weaponry, including missile systems and defensive technologies, aimed at bolstering Ukraine's defenses. Ukrainian officials have expressed gratitude for the support, asserting that it is crucial for their ongoing efforts to repel Russian advances. The backdrop of this aid underscores a broader geopolitical struggle, as NATO countries seek to deter Russian aggression while supporting Ukraine's sovereignty. The provision of military assistance has sparked discussions about its long-term implications for regional stability and the balance of power in Eastern Europe. Observers are concerned that increased military support could provoke further escalation from Russia, potentially leading to a wider confrontation. Looking ahead, Ukraine's strategic deployment of this aid will be pivotal in shaping the conflict's trajectory in the coming weeks. In a significant diplomatic move, Russian President Vladimir Putin is set to visit Chinese leader Xi Jinping on May 19, 2026. This visit comes just days after former U.S. President Donald Trump's trip to Beijing, which aimed to strengthen ties between the U.S. and China amidst ongoing geopolitical tensions. Putin's visit is timed to coincide with the 25th anniversary of the Sino-Russian Treaty of Friendship, underscoring the strengthening relationship between the two nations. Analysts suggest that this meeting could have far-reaching implications for global politics, particularly regarding the ongoing conflict in Ukraine and China's stance on Taiwan. Both leaders are expected to discuss military cooperation and economic partnerships that could challenge Western influence in the region. As the world watches these developments, the implications for international trade and military alliances remain a topic of concern. The outcomes of this meeting could redefine the power dynamics between the U.S., Russia, and China in the coming years. Observers keenly await statements from both leaders following their discussions. Recent polling data reveals that former President Donald Trump's approval rating has plummeted to a record low following his controversial policies and statements over the past months. As of May 18, 2026, only 32% of Americans approve of his job performance, a stark decline from previous ratings. Analysts attribute this drop to rising dissatisfaction among key voter demographics, including independents and suburban women. The fallout from his handling of foreign relations, particularly concerning tensions with Iran and the ongoing conflict in Ukraine, has sparked criticism from both sides of the political aisle. Additionally, Trump's recent comments regarding the Ebola outbreak have raised eyebrows among public health experts and citizens alike. Political strategists note that this decline could significantly impact the upcoming midterm elections, as candidates align with or distance themselves from his policies. The Republican Party is now faced with the challenge of rallying its base while addressing the growing discontent among voters. Looking forward, how Trump navigates these challenges will be critical for his political future and the party's direction. As of May 19, 2026, reports indicate that Russia has intensified its bombardment across multiple fronts in Ukraine. This escalation follows a series of diplomatic talks that have failed to yield any meaningful ceasefire agreements. Ukrainian officials state that Russian forces have launched a record number of airstrikes, particularly targeting civilian infrastructure in eastern Ukraine, including schools and hospitals. The situation is dire, with thousands of civilians displaced and humanitarian aid efforts severely hampered as access to critical supplies becomes increasingly restricted. International reactions have been swift. NATO condemned the attacks and called for stronger sanctions against Russia, while several countries expressed solidarity with Ukraine. Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky has urgently called for increased military support from Western allies, emphasizing the need for advanced weaponry to effectively counter the aggression. The conflict has already claimed thousands of lives, and the humanitarian crisis continues to deepen, with millions facing starvation and lack of medical care. In response, Ukraine has ramped up its defenses and mobilized reservists to bolster its military presence. As diplomatic avenues seem to dwindle, leaders are focusing on a potential arms summit aimed at providing Ukraine with the necessary tools to withstand this continued onslaught. On May 18, 2026, the World Health Organization declared the ongoing Ebola outbreak a global health emergency. This alarming decision comes in response to a rapid increase in cases across several African nations, particularly in the Democratic Republic of Congo. Health officials have reported over 500 confirmed cases since the outbreak began, with a staggering mortality rate exceeding 50%. The outbreak's epicenter in the DRC is particularly concerning, as the region's healthcare infrastructure is already under severe strain from previous health crises, including the COVID-19 pandemic. The WHO's declaration aims to mobilize international resources and coordinate a comprehensive response to contain the spread of the virus while providing crucial support to affected regions. Countries around the world are now on high alert, implementing travel advisories and enhanced screening procedures at airports to prevent further transmission. The WHO has emphasized the urgent need for immediate funding and support for local health systems, which are struggling to cope with the crisis. As the situation continues to evolve, health experts are reiterating the importance of hygiene practices and vaccination as key preventative measures. Looking ahead, discussions on equitable vaccine distribution and international collaboration to combat the outbreak are set to take center stage, ensuring that vulnerable populations receive timely and effective interventions. Thank you for watching. Which of these stories shocked you the most? Don't forget to like and subscribe for more updates on the news that matters.